The question we're tackling today is, what is Yin Yoga? And today I'm here with Rayne Watkin, who teaches at Mordialloc and Brighton and also facilitates our Yin teacher training. Welcome.
Thank you.
It's a big question. So how do you see Yin Yoga? What is it?
I think this is actually quite timely you're asking me this, because I'm starting to hear a lot of different things about what Yin Yoga is, and it's making me want to just allow it to be a little less dogmatic and a little bit more fluid. So Yin Yoga is a new yoga. It's a brand. Let's say that. Yin Yoga is a brand. But the technique or the philosophy is anchored in ancient teachings. I could take it to Hatha. It's like a moon practice to stabilize the mind, long, slow holds. I could take it to Taoist Yin, which is in the caves in China. They found all of these postures of Yin in the caves, and they use it in that paradigm. So slow postures held for a long period of time is a keystone, but it's evolving as things should and do. Yin by its nature is creative. It's a feminine energy. It's going to change. And if we become so dogmatic of whether this is right and that is wrong, I think we're doing a disservice to this evolving practice. So having said that, Yin Yoga has principles that need to be followed to be classified as Yin Yoga. So the principles are, they're called tattvas, is number one, find your edge. When you find an edge in the practice, it's not your end range. It's an edge that you can hold over time. So let's call it 60, 70% as an arbitrary number. And that will look different literally in every body. So and every shape. So no one in a class should look the same, which I think is a really important thing. Don't try and practice by mirroring the people around you. That's not your edge. But a mental edge is a real thing. So if I say, let's do double pigeon, which is an advanced putting one leg on top of the other forward fold, that will make some people go, no, I'll never do that. And guess what? That's an edge.
Yes.
Just sit with the discomfort as I can't do it. That's a practice. So finding the edge, important, right? So that needs to be there, and that needs to be taught skillfully. Then staying for some time. Time is the ingredient, because we're taking muscles to a place where they stop guarding. So that has to be over 90 seconds to be effectual for larger muscle groups specifically. Smaller groups, you can probably get away with a little less time. But we want to use the practice to get to a point where the body can soften and disarm so that we can get to the deeper tissue of the body. So time is a keystone, and being still in that time is another thing, because this is a mental practice. And that's why people don't like Yin Yoga that are normally quite active in their practices, because they're just like, I'm bored.
It's a challenge for the mind.
It's just like, I don't know where to anchor, because you're not entertaining me and moving my body in multiple directions. You're saying stay still. So as I've said in other podcasts, it's about allowing yourself to realize that every movement of the body is a movement of the mind. And Yin Yoga is a movement, not a movement-based practice. Inherently, it's a stillness to allow yourself to see what moves within the stillness. And that can be emotions, that can be your mind. And for most that are learning and have come from a movement practice, it's going to be their mind. And it's a very judgy mind, but it's going to be a mind. And so it takes time to wade through the ripples of that. But I think the other thing is, it's about coming out just as slowly as you go. Okay, so those are the principles of Yin in a nutshell. But are you allowed to move in class? I'm hearing people say no. I'm hearing this on social media. I'm hearing like, nope, that's not a Yin class. I'm also hearing it's not a Yin class if you use lots of props. And I think this is important. What's the difference between Yin Yoga and restorative yoga?
Great question.
Right?
I love that you're asking the questions and the answers.
So what is the difference? What is the difference? So take a moment, and as you're listening to me, do you know the difference? Your mind's going, it's like, I don't know, actually. What is the difference? Well, Yin Yoga, from the purest view, would be with no props, almost none.
Really?
So that means you've really got to learn to find your edge without the use of props, which can become almost a habit. And I would agree that that's happening. We're habitually now just grabbing the bolster versus even thinking about trying it first without it. That might be something. I'm going to put that out there for everyone to just fizzle over. That's fine. I'm happy to fizzle. I like throwing grenades into the conversation. But the point is, restorative yoga is to calm your nervous system. So it's fully supported. We use lots of props, and you're doing like Judith Lassiter, who's like the guru of restorative yoga. You're like folding your blankets in the most perfect way, and you need 500 of everything, which isn't practical in most studio settings. So we're not doing true restorative yoga, but we are offering and props. When you're adding prop upon prop, like a block under a bolster, you're starting to get more restorative. And is that not yin yoga? It's not yin yoga in the classical sense, because the edge is softened and the nervous system can disengage. So yin, let's just say, as a generic, non-dogmatic point of view, is when you're working more for muscle and myofascial release, right, through time. Whereas when you have a teacher that's using lots of props, or a much more nurtured experience where you're held more by the props that you're using, then we'll call that restorative, because it's more nervous system based. And I think that's important. But that doesn't say that you can't do a yin class that uses both.
Yes. And I mean, on our schedule, we see yin coupled with things like meditation, yoga nidra, release, which is the myofascial balls that you mentioned. Sometimes Reiki now is a new class that we have. So we can mesh these modalities together, which is very modern yoga, right? What's your opinion on that?
I think it's what I'm saying. It's an evolution. This is an evolving practice space, and we are creative by nature. So allow the individual teacher is going to bring their wheelhouse into the fray. Some people adding sound therapy and all those things as well. And it's just like, as long as the principles are held within the context of that and described and honored, then I just think it's okay. And I think it's wrong if we as the teaching facilitators start to say this is right and that is wrong. It's just about being clear about what you're doing, why you're doing it, and then the people that you're holding space for are going to feel the benefit of your intention.
Yes. If someone's listening to this and they've never done yin yoga,
yeah,
maybe they're a vinyasa fanatic or a Pilates fanatic, they maybe haven't delved into this world. What would you say are the energetic and physical benefits of yin yoga in a modern setting like the studios?
Well, full stop, it's an invitation to stop. So it's going to have the nervous system effect just because you're saying be still and downregulate. That's an assumption, though. People can be still and be completely stressed out, right? So that's not a given. That can be an effect. It's going to create increased range of motion within the joints over time. So not just in one class, all of a sudden you're going to be healed of all of your restrictions and adhesions within your body, but you're retraining the pathways of your fascia to release over time. So that would take consistent yin practice, not once a month. You're going to have to go a couple times a week if you're going to delve into that paradigm to try and create that type of change. And I would say it'd have to be a balance of types of classes, right? So I would do a myofascial release with the balls if you like that. And then you could do one that's more yin yoga nidra, which is more just for, if you're doing a class with me, it's to help kind of get out of your body and feel into your subtle world more. Using the body as the vehicle, but allowing you to grow a little bit more spacious in your understanding of who you are. And that can be embodied in many different ways. Sometimes in classes I also introduce Qigong because I'm a Qigong teacher as well. And some people might find that contentious. Why are you doing Qigong, Rayne, when I just want to flop around on the mat? Because, and I'm going to tell you why. Sometimes I do breath work. Why do I do breath work? Because yin breathing, which is in and out your nose, requires yang to be activated. So you need to combine the two types of breath if you're going to activate the energy body within that model. So I'm using the Chinese model here. I could use myofascial, but I'm talking Chinese here. So I'm activating qi by using movement, whether it's a practice at the top end or a breath. And then I invite stillness. And sometimes I'll move between a little bit of yang, and I'm not talking about 56 chaturangas in the middle of the yin class, but I might just do being gentle, aware movements, and then lead to stillness again. And that allows my students and the feedback I get to go deeper. So it's a combination of a lot of things, but I think I've answered your question, have I?
Yeah. I'm interested in the 90 seconds, right? So it takes 90 seconds to make a lasting change in the fascia in the body, correct? So you mentioned
Or the muscles to disarm.
Or the muscles disarm.
It takes a bit longer for fascia to want to come to the party because it's a bit more rigid.
Is there
well, it says it takes time. So bigger muscle groups, the muscle guarding stops at around 90 seconds. So you'll feel in a yin class, the body will maybe take a breath, or you'll feel a softening happen. That's what you'll notice from an objective point of view. But the plasticity and elasticity, which is the conversation of myofascia. So your muscles, if you don't stretch them, will just recoil back to their original length. But over time, it becomes plastic so it can stay. But it requires hydration. So if you're coming into a class dehydrated, you're not going to get the same amount of benefit.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I'd say a lot of people do that, especially people that double from a flow to a yin. They might be dehydrated.
They're not drinking enough between class.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you can be really sore after a yin class because you haven't drunk, right? So there's so much subtlety to what affects your myofascial system. But I would say anything that's 3 minutes to 5 minutes, you're going to get more change. Specifically through the lower body. Upper body wouldn't hold as long. But I do challenge the amount of holding time as well as many other things.
Yes. Yeah. So 90 seconds to make a difference. In terms of how many times a week to practice, what do you think moves the marker in terms of, let's just call it flexibility, mobility?
Look, if your goal is to truly make a difference, I'd say you have to do yin at least 3 times a week to make a difference there. But if you're using it as an adjunct to create balance within a really young life, meaning a life that's really busy, at least 2 times a week with your flows. I'd say, if you could do it every other, Monday flow and then do a yin if you're an everyday type of person, or it just depends how you're doing your practice. Yeah. And also, maybe you need to adapt. I have a really hectic week ahead. Maybe I shouldn't be doing all of that harder vinyasa flow. And for this week, because I know I'm under a lot of stress, maybe do a little bit more chill. Because why would I do more when I'm already depleted? So it's just being intelligent about it, but it's not dogmatic. You've got to listen to yourself. And I literally just had a conversation with someone this morning. She goes, I really don't want to go to a yin class. I really am challenged by it. And I'm like, that's exactly why you need to go.
The amount of times in the last 10 years of owning studios that I've heard that I only come to vinyasa.
Yeah.
It's baffling. And we have yin every single day at all 3 studios because we know it's important.
It is.
Vital. So with our yin yoga training, we say it's for, teachers who want to delve more into yin and become yin teachers or just learn more. And also for students who really want to either develop a home practice or have more of an understanding of the body. What's your thoughts on that?
Look, well, I love this yin training, and it's really evolved over the last couple of years since I've started facilitating it, but it really covers the whole gamut. So therefore, it isn't just for teachers. Yes, teachers show up to these things, but there are people that are absolutely curious. I had a mom come with her 2 daughters, and I've had mothers and sons. It doesn't have to be this idea that I don't want to be a teacher, so I shouldn't do that. You're going to benefit from just being there. You're going to learn things about the Chinese medicine model. You'll understand the environment and the elements more than you ever have. You're going to start to understand the difference between Indian energetics and Chinese meridian theory. You'll learn more about your body, and everybody loves the ball day. They love playing around, and it's so empowering, and that's why I love the course. It's just a wide variety of experiences. It's not saying this is the only way, and it's inviting you just to be curious because it's a huge ocean of information. And it's just finding that one that just piques you enough to go deeper. That's what it's about. And you're going to get a million different practices and feel like pretty amazing by the end of it anyway, even if you don't want to teach it. Yeah.
It's delicious 3 days of just softening.
100%.
Well, thank you so much.
Pleasure.
If somebody wants to find you, where can they find you?
Well, I'm on Instagram, Yoga with Rayne. I am here at Warrior One on Tuesdays, at Mordialloc in Brighton on Thursday and Friday. I am otherwise a mom, an osteopath. I'm doing all the other things. So socials is probably easiest, or just...
See you on the mat. Thank you so much.
For sure.
If you loved today's episode, please subscribe, leave us a review and share with your friends. If you'd like to learn more about what we do, visit warrior1yoga.com.au and follow us on socials. We'll see you on the yoga mat.